Hello, it's that college football guy here with another video. As badly as I want this expansion talk to end, it just keeps on going with rumor after rumor after rumor. I mean, I heard Texas Tech talking to the Big Ten. No. Texas Tech may have reached out to the Big Ten at one point to say, hey, are you guys interested? I mean, I don't doubt any member of the Big 12 or the Pac-12 or the ACC or anybody just did a little reach out to see, hey, are you interested? That's just having due diligence. But I don't have any validity to believe anything of that. I just don't. No. Then there's a story, which is what the main thing of this video is about. The ACC renegotiating with ESPN. I read this and I'm like, yeah, right. The ACC is bent over a barrel right now. And they know it. And there's no way that this deal works for them right now. They want to get it better. And they're saying they're renegotiating the deal to get better terms and come on to this, and that's going to lead to a backdoor potentially of the SEC. I've looked at a couple of videos from other people and on there some stories, including a couple of lawyers who said they took a look at the deal, the grant of rights deal. And the grant of rights deal, basically, if they add more teams, you can't get out of it. But according to the lawyers here, I wish I had the link to it. I put it down at the bottom. But according to the lawyers, any team that wishes to join has to sign on agreeing to the grant of rights for the length of term left. And basically their term is they're added on to the agreement. Basically, what I've gathered was, I don't know exactly what the television agreement they pay for their first and second tier rights. Let's say it's like $41 million or $40 million. Make it easy. $40 million. Two schools want to join the ACC. Well, they get those two schools to join, and it's going to add $80 million to the current television contract, so they each get $40 million. It doesn't increase anything except for the grand total. The current agreement stands. So this whole idea, apparently, I've gotten from multiple places, is that folks, the major expansion is pretty much done until 2034 to 2036. That's when all the fun starts again, because that's when Pac-12 is going to sign a new TV deal, which is probably going to be 10 years, which would be 2024, 2034. The Big Ten's TV deal is going to be starting up soon. That's going to be 10 years. And the SEC's TV deal is starting up soon. And then the ACC's television deal will finally come to an end. Big 12's will be up. And 10 years from now, we're having the same circus. 2012 to 2014, we had the realignment last time. This time it's going to be the same thing. Except it's going to go from 2022 to 2025 because of Oklahoma and Texas and their time leaving the Big 12. I can see ESPN's renegotiating this deal. And I could see the ACC going, oh, please, ESPN, our teams have more value, our teams have more things. We're going to make this on there. We're going to bring more value to your contract. Can't we renegotiate this? And I could see one sentence coming out of ESPN's mouth. Bring in Notre Dame and we'll renegotiate then. But our teams are worth a lot of money. Bring in Notre Dame and we'll renegotiate then. Clemson is making the college football playoff. Bring Notre Dame in and we'll renegotiate then. That's all ESPN's going to care about. You bring in Notre Dame and maybe one other school, they'll renegotiate at that point. Oh, most definitely. Because they're not going to let Notre Dame walk. They want them under contract. So that's the only way this thing's going to end, folks. But right now, I think all of this talk is talk. Do I think they possibly could renegotiate it? But I don't think so. I don't think they're going to do anything like that. I think it's just going to stay pretty much the way it is. We're going to have all this stuff going on. It's going to wait about 10 years. Like I said, the only thing I figure is going to happen is the Big 12 possibly having to add two schools in 2025 when Oklahoma and Texas leave if their television partner wants 14 teams. Once Oklahoma and Texas leave, the Big 12 will be 14 teams for 2 years from 2023 to 2025. I don't know if they're going to want to continue that or not. That's the television partner's decision. So, and I've heard just, the other thing I've heard about a lot of things going around here is that who's going to be in the best position to be the third best conference. And I've heard the ACC, and I'm like, no. The ACC is going to get picked apart. They're kind of like the Pac-12. The Pac-12 put a Band-Aid on a broken leg. They're waiting. They got enough out of it. It says, we're not interested in you. We're not interested in you right now. Just not till 2034 when everything else goes on and everything else changes at that point. But the idea of a 24-team super conference, I don't get it. I don't know where that number came from. I'm looking at the conferences and I'm looking 20 max. Just think about it. What teams actually move the needle? I think I've said this before. And there's some of, and like Notre Dame is the only one that could go to any Power 5 and it would move the needle. They're the only one. Everybody else is situational. Think Clemson would make money in the would make more money in the Pac-12, or vice versa? No. I mean, I look at it. You got Clemson, Florida State, Miami, North Carolina, Virginia, maybe, Washington, Oregon, Notre Dame. Duke may move for the fact of North Carolina moving. But that's not a needle mover. That's just cost of doing business. Those are the 8 schools. North Carolina being the state school in North Carolina, Virginia being the state school in Virginia. And they have their moves there. But that's pretty much it. I've been looking and trying to see if find anything about this crazy idea of all this 24-team super conference, and I keep looking at the money. Do you honestly, anybody, and ask everybody here a question, do you honestly think these super conferences are going to, these conferences, the Big Ten, the SEC, are going to have somebody join just so they can lose money doing it? No. No way in hell. They're not doing it. They're not going to do that. So there's those 8 schools that could come in.
Say a command.
Well, guess what I forgot to turn off. This is what happens when you have a truck GPS, folks. It makes noise. And I can talk and it'll think it's something else. A little bit of comedy for you here in the middle of a video. But, yeah, I don't buy it. I mean, I look at it for the fact of a 20-team conference, you're still doing divisions, 19 teams if you don't have divisions. Because if you look at like what a 16-team conference, like 16 is a sweet spot for conferences. I mean, the sweet spots for conferences, scheduling-wise, 14, 16, 17, 19, 22, 24. 25 and up, it gets ridiculous. You could do 24, and it could work. 25 and up is when you start getting 10-game conference schedules. And that would be like 2 super conferences facing each other, 2 games out of the year against the other conference where you play 10 in. But I don't know. Like I said, a 16-teamer works out great because that's the sweet spot that the SEC wants, I think, is 19. Because their 3-6 model is for 16. The 3-6 model on 19, just 3 more. 3-6 model on 16. 16-team conference is you and 15 opponents. You have 3 guaranteed rivals, cuts the number down to 12, 6 one year, 6 the other. We'll increase the number to 19. That's you and 18 opponents. 3 guaranteed rivals, it cuts it down to 15. 5, 5, 5. The traditional SEC 8-game conference schedule that they love. And you play everybody every 3 years, every 6 years, everybody comes to your stadium. You're still going to do divisions. 20 is the sweet spot because that's 10 in each division. You have a 9-game conference schedule against your own division. You play everybody in your own division. And you don't play the other side until the championship games. But unless you want it to be more balanced and actually have games against the opposite side, you can't play everybody in your division. Or you cut it to 18. And then it's 8 opponents, and you have a game against the other division. 1 game in it. But I think the no division idea is going to be the way of the future. As I've said this before, I like to be able to talk to some college football here. I like to be talking about how recruiting is going absolutely insane right now. Ohio State #1, Tennessee jumped all the way up to 5th. How some of the early top 25 polls are going out, and their schools are changing up and down. We haven't even had a post-spring game. Preseason top 25 polls, and guys are moving up and down, and nothing's happened. I mean, what are we doing? Able to talk about games, and we got this game coming up. Sleeper games that are coming in there. I think it'll be sleepers. Games that we like to be surprised about. Teams that can pull off upsets. Hopefully we finally can get to that. Because I'd like to put this to bed. The SEC, according to an anonymous athletic director, so take that for what it's worth, that they're done. And I believe they are done. I believe the Big Ten's done. The only thing right now is the Big 12. Are they going to poach anybody from the Pac-12? I don't see that happening. But then again, it all depends on the Pac-12's TV deal. If their TV deal gets lowballed out at like $25 million a school, they could leave, because the Big 12's TV deal, as it stands, is looking at $32 to $34 million. If you add those 4 Pac-12 schools, it's going to go up. So, we'll see. Can we get back to college football instead of all this expansion talks? It starts giving you a migraine, and you need a giant 12-foot whiteboard to start writing down all this stuff. But anyway, I'm that college football guy. If you like the video, give me a thumbs up. Comment any suggestions you make. If I made any mistakes here, let me know down in the comments. I'll answer the comments as best I can. And as always, everybody, try to be good to each other.